I read a message in a forum where a man was describing how terrible his life has become. And when he ended the message, he wrote this: I don't know what I want to do anymore, but I want to commit suicide by the end of the year. There's nothing else I want to do in this life. Everything is broken dreams and disillusionment, followed by brief lights and then long nights. And so I wrote him this response, and I've titled it, How to End Your Own Life. I hear you saying that you don't like your life, and that living it has become unbearable, and that you're thinking about making a permanent decision to solve a temporary problem, and I'm sorry that you're feeling that way, but you're not alone. I want you to try and consider the following idea, even if only as a thought experiment. Perhaps you're correct, and that your life as it currently is unlivable. Perhaps you're trying to enjoy your job, but you simply can't because it's not enjoyable. Perhaps everyone around you is a narcissist, and you can't find a loving relationship where you feel validated. Perhaps none of what you're experiencing is in your head, and that your assessment is correct. Your current life sucks and you hate it, rightfully so. Perhaps you're at a dead end. You're trying to make it work, but you can't because the road you're traveling down doesn't lead you anywhere, and you know it. And you can't ignore that any longer or pretend that it's working because in your bones you know it isn't true. I want you to know that's okay. You don't have to commit suicide. You see, it's possible to end your life without committing suicide. Right now, what you believe as your life doesn't have to be your life anymore. You can throw that all away and start over fresh. You can choose a different life if you wish. You can pick an entirely different path whenever you want. You can't simply decide to arrive at any destination, but you can decide to begin walking towards it. What do I mean exactly? Maybe your soul is calling you towards a better life, a life of adventure and learning, a life of boldness and growth and discovery. Maybe your future is calling out to you and your soul hurts the longer you try to ignore that. There are so many different lives available to you right now that you could trade your current life in for. You could sell everything you own right now and purchase a plane ticket to the Philippines and spend the next year motorcycling through the jungle and eating fresh mangoes for breakfast. You could join the Peace Corps and spend the next year traveling the world and helping to feed hungry children. You could join the U.S. Forest Service and spend the next year fighting wildfires in the forests all around the United States. You could fly to France and join the French Foreign Legion and become an elite soldier operating in exotic theaters of combat alongside your warrior brothers who sharpen you like a piece of iron. You could retreat to a monastery and spend years delving into the void through meditation. You could hitchhike to Tecumseh, Missouri, and join the 1,000-acre organic farming community called East Wind and spend years living off the grid, exploring the earth through art and music and farming. Tell them Elo sent you. And these are just a few of the thousands of different paths that await you if you're bold enough to take the leap. Letting go of your current life might just be the prescription for what ails you. Only you can decide that. But suicide is far less exciting and far less fulfilling than any of these alternatives. Life is actually incredibly exciting when we broaden our perspective and realize that there is so much more available to us than the narrow road that we're currently traveling down. At the very least, if everything feels hopeless, commit within yourself that you will put suicide on hold until you've at least tried a few of these other alternative paths that are available to you. Who knows? You might find that living in a treehouse in Malaysia while being a Tai Chi instructor was exactly the thing you needed to fill your soul with purpose. It's okay to end your current life, just don't commit suicide. Trade your life in for a different one. You don't have to live the life that you're living right now. There's probably a man your age living in a village on the beach in Mexico right now who catches 3 fish a day and who has never had a phone number. That could be you in 3 months. I'll leave you with a few words from men wiser than myself, because after all, I'm just some guy from the internet. Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. André Gide. The first steps towards getting somewhere is to decide that you're not going to stay where you are. J.P. Morgan. You must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that's waiting for us. E.M. Forster. When you come to the end of what you should know, you will be at the beginning of what you should sense. Khalil Gibran. Whoever you are, wherever you are right now, I want you to know, don't give up. You're not alone. There is so much more to this life than what you've experienced up to this point. There are so many different paths available to each one of us. If we can broaden our perspective, if we can put on hold any notion that we are at a dead end and we don't have the ability to turn around and go back from where we came, we all do. That's the beautiful thing about life. So if you get to the point where you feel like life is hopeless and there's nowhere to go from here, I just want you to know that you're wrong. There are so many places you can go from here. Sure, maybe your career is not going to work out. Maybe your marriage isn't going to work out. Maybe the relationships that you're in simply are not working out. Maybe where you're living, you can't live there any longer. But that is life, and that's okay. And just because you can't achieve that one particular goal that you have been chasing for so long, do not take that as a sign that you cannot achieve anything in this world, because that simply is not the case. I'm holding each of you today, right now, in light and in power, and I pray that you are finding your way. God bless.